Hey, what's going on? If you clicked on this video, chances are you want to know a little bit about the life lessons that we've learned in the Navy. But then again, who cares, right? You don't know me, I don't know you. But wait a minute. So, I'm Tony. Some of my family members, they call me Ant. And I'm a chief in the United States Navy. I've been in the Navy for 11, going on 12 years now. And I joined the Navy because I wanted to build skills. I wanted to build experience. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to meet different people. And so now I make motivational videos because I like to help people and I just like to connect with people. So now that we know each other, we can add each other on social media and we can go about our business, right? All right, thank you. Peace. No, seriously. So I would be sharing 11 valuable lessons that I learned for 11 years of my life. I would be sharing valuable lessons for each year throughout my Navy career so far. And hopefully you might find it valuable. Hopefully you might find something that you can relate to. Hopefully you might find something that'll help you in your life. And if so, then I would love for you to share it. I would love for you to like it. Let me know, give me some feedback. Let me know how that goes for you. And also, if you really enjoy the videos, I hope that you subscribe because these are going to be videos that I'm going to be releasing one after the other, and you don't want to miss any. So enjoy the video. Thank you. Okay, so for year number 1 in the Navy, one really important lesson that I learned was to never let anyone influence decisions that will negatively affect your family. See, for me, this right here was a lesson that I would continuously have to deal with. So I learned from it, but it made some damages that I'm not sure that I could ever really recover from. But it is what it is. And so here's what happened. So I just got out of boot camp and now I'm going to my first command, right? My first command was in Washington, D.C. A lot of people would always say, oh, you're lucky for being here, right? I don't know. It was a whole bunch of high-ranking people. It was a good duty station, but I was young or whatever. But anyway, I got to the command and I need to get to my family, right? My family, they were in New York, and I was waiting on the command to pull through on getting like a basic housing allowance from my family because at the time, my spouse at the time, she was going to school. I just had my first child, Paul, and we were planning on doing like a kind of long-term thing just until my spouse at the time finished school, right? And so I knew just from learning from like the recruiter and things like that I would have a basic housing allowance. And so my chain of command at the time, one of my bosses, he says like, all right, your family, they need to come here. And the reason he said that is because the basic housing allowance for New York, it was a lot of money at the time. I think it was about like $4 grand or something like that. And he said that me being a young guy, like he didn't want me to like get enticed by all that money and just go spend it up, run it up, and then have the family call in, speaking of no support, reaching out to the chain of command and things like that. And so at the time, I was like, I need to think about it because he said, it's like, your family needs to come here. So you should talk your family into coming here. And honestly, for a leader, I think sometimes that's their job. Get your family together and all that stuff. But it works for certain people, but not for other people. Me and my spouse at the time, our dynamic it was the kind of dynamic where it's like, all right, the most important thing right now is we establish ourselves for our children, right? We want to make sure we're good with school, business, whatever, right? And so it was it was the BH thing, right? That went on. So I went back to my barracks room and I thought about it, and I spoke with my spouse at the time, and we got on the same page. Like, all right, we got a support system here for our son, still going to school and things like that. And right now we're stable, right? And we had enough money to pay the rent in New York for the time being, but we needed that BH because New York rent was expensive then. It's expensive now, right? It's still expensive, but we're like, hey man, we need to start getting some money. So we needed the BAH, right? And so and my family like legitimately live in New York. I know sometimes a lot of people think about like fraud and stuff like that, but no, my family like to this day like live in New York. Like my boys live in New York. And so my whole entire, like just about my whole family. But anyway, and so I got with the boss the next day. And I spoke to him and I said, hey, I hear what you're saying, but I want my family to stay there in New York because because my wife, she's at school, she's in school, we got the support system there, yada yada yada, right? And so for him, he was like, nah, like your family needs to be with you, and this is the way like that it needs to go. And so at the time, you know, me not having any pushback, me being a young sailor, like this guy, he was like the end all be all, you know, he had status. And so I was just like, well, damn, like he's pushing me back. I guess I can't do it. And another thing, like he made it seem like the policy didn't allow for that. And that's another lesson that I learned. Anytime there's policy or things like that, you need to read it for yourself, right? So if I would have knew what I knew now and he said anything about policy, I would have said, let me read that policy. I'd like to read it for myself, and I'd like to understand it for myself. But I didn't do that. I was young and I didn't know better, right? And so my family ended up moving here. So my spouse at the time, she was uprooted from school. The family is away from the support system, and it went just like I expected it would probably go. It was rough. We struggled. We didn't have enough money, or we didn't have as much money. Like so we were making less money now because now she has to get another job out here. I'm making less money because the housing allowance in DC is like a lot lower and stuff. So we weren't really able to really like be that stable. You know, we struggled a lot. Struggled like crazy, I'm telling you, right? And it breeded a lot of like discontent and whatnot in the household. And it was like my spouse at the time, she finally was like, you know what, the Navy, they don't care about me, they care about you being here. And she always had a bad taste in her mouth from that, and I can understand that, because it seemed like we didn't really have that support system out there. I know everybody's busy, everybody has kids and stuff like that, but that's just how it seemed. And so and like I said, I learned that lesson because with that right there, it caused a good amount of things in life that I don't think that it could ever be recovered from. And so that's a lesson that I learned. And so that's a lesson that I learned. If you can relate to that, if anybody can relate to that, then I want you to like this video. Also, I would like for you to subscribe, honestly. I would like for you to subscribe. Send me a like and share. And let me know if this is useful to you. I hope it is. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was something that was able to help you. I hope it's something valuable for you. I hope it's something you can relate to. And if it is, then you can show that by liking, also put in a comment. If you have something that's similar, you have an experience you can relate to, comment. I'd like to hear about it. I want to know more about you as I tell you more about me. Also, if you think that these videos are helpful and you want to hear more of them, you want to see more of them, then consider subscribing. I'd really like for you to do that, I'll be honest. Alright, so that's all I have. Until next time, no further entries. This page, Tony Tone.